Hundreds of thousands of patrolmen report for duty, armed with a badge and the latest in video technology. You are about to witness their never-before-seen footage, their stories caught on tape. Now, on disorderly conduct.
Oh, man, what are you doing?
This is why you don't run from police. This is why you don't speed on turns. And this is why you don't jump from a moving car. There's a right way and a wrong way to use your head. And we've got it all on disorderly conduct.
Get out!
A news chopper looks on as police try to pull a robbery suspect out of his car in Denver, Colorado. An officer has him by the arm, but the suspect gets away and the foot pursuit is on. The officer knocks him down, but look out! An unmarked police car following the chase can't stop in time and slams into the suspect and the officer, who flies up onto the hood. The suspect is knocked out on impact. The officer, limping and in pain, falls to his knees as fellow cops rush to assist. The injured officer is helped to his feet. Meanwhile, the suspect comes to while he's being cuffed. The officer is put into the back seat of a patrol car for a ride to the hospital. The suspect gets a back seat in another car. Both are treated for non-life-threatening injuries. But only one gets charged for robbery and fleeing, which wasn't such a good idea after all. A jail escapee is on the loose in Warren County, Ohio. Police are convinced the convicted thief left two women tied up and carjacked their SUV. By the time the cruiser with the dash cam catches up, the suspect has hit a spike strip. It doesn't take long before a couple of tires give out and smoke pours from the vehicle. The 20-year-old man tries to pass cars on the right and ends up on the shoulder. Then it looks like he overcompensates and slams into another car. The innocent motorist is sent spinning and slides into the guardrail. As the trailblazer flies up I-71, there are more after effects from the spikes. Chunks of hot rubber fly right into the path of other travelers. The man shows no mercy toward anyone else as he careens into yet another car. There's no doubt that this guy has to be removed from the interstate. The question is, how? Troopers decide to lay back a bit, hoping this road warrior will slow down as his ride breaks down. But he continues to drive like a maniac and slams into two more cars. Seconds later, he heads toward an exit off the highway. Then about halfway up the ramp, he suddenly comes to a stop. Finally, the young man makes his first intelligent decision of the day and puts his hands out the window. Officers carefully close in and order him to the ground. He's cuffed and marched off to jail, where he faces charges including kidnapping, escape, and aggravated robbery. It's also a safe bet he'll be sent to a more secure jail. It's a pursuit down the main drag of Easley, South Carolina. That car hits a terrifying 120 miles an hour. And to make matters worse, along with a man and woman, there's a little baby inside. Officers are convinced of two things. One, the car is stolen. And two, if this doesn't end soon, something horrible will happen. That's just what occurs when the driver tries a full-speed turn.
1050.
The gold Acura slams into a utility pole and power transformer. A call goes out for an ambulance.
Rear back deployment.
With guns drawn, officers converge on the crash site. All are amazed that no one is seriously injured. In fact, the driver is in a fighting mood, and he has to be dragged from the vehicle. After leading cops on a pursuit and endangering his family, he apparently thinks it's the police who are out of line.
Oh, man, what are you doing?
What officers are doing is taking him off the road for a long time, so he can answer to numerous charges, including child endangerment and DUI. Don't get carried away. Lots more disorderly conduct coming up. A suspect waltzes with the law. 3-on-1. And things to do when someone tries to take the cash register. Pick up the phone and use it. Disorderly conduct is dialing up the action. Next.
Step out here.
An officer pulls over a suspicious truck in Nacogdoches, Texas.
Step out of the vehicle now. Put your hands right here.
Look, I ain't
Put your hands on the truck right here. Do it now.
I'm serious as a heart attack.
Do it now. Do you understand?
I ain't done nothing.
Do it now.
The suspect has had trouble with the law before, and these two know each other, which might explain why this cop is taking no chances.
I want to check, make sure you don't have a weapon on you.
Oh, that's nice.
Put your hands on the truck.
He's not armed, but he's carrying methamphetamine.
Give me your hands. You're under arrest.
For what?
For possession of a controlled substance.
The suspect isn't about to give up his hands or anything else.
I'm not going to stand here and fight with you. Give up your hands.
Look,
Give up your hands.
done nothing.
He gets hit with pepper spray. He runs for the front seat with the officer close behind.
Give up your hands. Give up your hands. No. Give up your hands. Give me your hands.
The officer unleashes more pepper spray and calls for help. And he's sure going to need it to round up this character. The suspect takes off into the night. But hours later, cops intercept him trying to escape off-road. He leads officers on a long chase. Then down a dirt road.
We're running about 85 miles an hour right now.
Until finally the suspect pulls up with a flat front tire. And we're back to square one.
Get on the ground right now.
Except this time it's going to turn out a little differently. Three cops take the fighting suspect down to the ground. They finally get him cuffed and he's charged with possession of a controlled substance and evading arrest. He was hard to bring down, but in the end, 3 is always better than 1. It looks like this guy in the truck is pulling in to get gas at this station in Glendale, California. But no, he's here to get cash with a crash. At the left of your screen, the truck slams through the wall as the man behind the counter reacts. The armed suspect goes for the register. The cashier goes ballistic with the only weapon at hand. A telephone receiver at the end of a cord. But the phone thread has no effect. The suspect wrestles the register from the counter. Puts it in his truck and pulls away. He's off into the night, leaving the cashier to use the only phone that still works to call police. It's a brazen robbery caught on 3 cameras, but the suspect remains at large unless someone picks up a phone and calls the cops again. It's a pursuit through the streets of Oakland, Michigan. Chases are rare here, and this one is at the height of afternoon rush hour. Inside that black Charger are a couple of carjacking suspects who are believed to be armed. Commuters can only watch as the pursuit cuts between cars. Minutes later, the suspects race through this residential area. When the suspects push their luck too far, the car misses a turn, charges directly into a light pole, and flips completely over. But any thoughts of escape can be forgotten. With guns drawn, officers close in and make it clear their running days are over. When the suspects are taken into custody, cops breathe a sigh of relief that no one is seriously hurt. Especially since a cocked and loaded revolver is found inside the car. Stay with it! Everyone's flipping for disorderly conduct. Up next, the wrong way to get out of the car when confronted by the law. And way too much for anyone to drink. An all-over-the-road soda chase. Keep on trucking with lots more disorderly conduct next. In the small town of Travelers Rest, South Carolina, one traveler is just looking to get himself arrested. He gets pulled over for a minor traffic violation, but makes a major mistake and takes off. He's going at a pretty good clip, running stop signs and pushing 80 miles an hour through a residential neighborhood. He nearly causes a head-on collision. Twice. But now the suspect is about to reach new heights in the art of eluding arrest. Watch closely as he moves from behind the wheel to the passenger side. Before the disbelieving eyes of the officer from Travelers Rest, the guy bails out of the car and lands on his butt in the middle of the road. No problem. He's back on his feet and on the run. Let's just keep an eye on the car for a while and make sure it doesn't hit anybody. It's all good. No injuries. The suspect is collared moments later and busted for failure to stop. And he nearly busted his tail, too. Police are chasing a stolen 15-ton truck full of 7-Up in Los Angeles, California. And you can tell the suspect was in a hurry when he jacked the big rig. Because he left a few doors open on the trailer. If he had any manners, he'd pull over and mop up that mess. But this soda jerk is down for the long haul. The pop just keeps on coming with every turn and bump in the road. He nearly sideswiped a motorist that time. Something about intersections just causes this truck to unload. Oh yeah, and sharp left turns too. But things get really dangerous when he takes it straight through a busy intersection. Look out! This guy gets popped. No one is seriously hurt, but the man with the cans is still running and still spraying them all over the street. This highly carbonated pursuit has to end somewhere. When the suspect hits local streets, his escape plan fizzles as he gets hung up on a curb. The soft drink delinquent takes off on foot. Cops comb the neighborhood and find him hiding in a tree.
He's both hands right to the field. Right to the ground. Right to the ground. Get on the ground. Get out.
He's cuffed and charged with auto theft. It started with 7-Up, but it ends with one down.
Right to the ground. Get on the ground. Get out.
Officer Michael Prince has a drunk man in the backseat in Coloma, Michigan. And the last thing he expects to see is another one in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
The patrol car is cruising quickly in the dark when Officer Prince finds himself nearly on top of a man strolling into oncoming traffic. But it was so quick, the guy in the back seat missed the whole thing.
The man.
Officer Prince calls in the near miss.
I was taking this subject home. I just missed a pedestrian walking in the middle of the road. Man, I just missed him. Partner, I almost killed you. Get your hands up. You're sorry? Get your hands up here.
It turns out the suspect was trying to walk home after a long night of drinking at a local bar.
It was loose.
The bar pulled you over.
I can see.
I guess.
Officer Prince still can't believe this guy's good luck.
Man, buddy, you almost not worth the living anymore.
I'm too drunk to walk home.
Oh, I can see that. I know you were almost dead.
A backup officer arrives.
I don't know how I missed this guy.
I want to go home.
Okay, I'm gonna get you home.
The second officer offers to take the man home, since Officer Prince already has his own drunk to drive home. And while he's at it, he's going to drive the point home too.
See what alcohol do?
Wow, let somebody else drive, sir.
I almost killed him. That bar should have called a taxi for him.
But when the bar doesn't look after its customers, The cops become cabbies. It's just another way to keep drunks off the street without having to scrape them off of it.
Damn.
Stick around. We've got lots more disorderly conduct coming up. A meeting between cop and suspect ends with a bang. And a bad guy hiding is no match for this winning combo, the dog and the FLIR cam. More disorderly conduct straight ahead. A suspected dope dealer is on the run through the southern tip of Georgia. The Mazda flies through the countryside outside the town of Cairo with cops in hot pursuit. The lead officer is familiar with the driver since he once busted him on a marijuana charge. Before long, the pursuit gets down and dirty. Troopers can only follow the dust and hope that no one is coming the other direction. Everything becomes clearer when the chase comes out the other end and on to the interstate. Maybe the guy figures if he can't lose the cops, he'll just lose the dope.
Started out a bunch of dope right past the bridge.
A close look shows the man tossing suspicious items out the window. The pursuit passes through 3 counties before the decision is made to box the guy in. But the suspect is having none of this and heads into the meadow. Then on his way back out, he slams into the lead cruiser. Here's how that looks from the other dash cam. The car careens across the road and into the trees. Within seconds, cops from throughout the county pour into the woods. The man is quickly arrested and charged with felony evading, as well as various drug charges. A chopper equipped with a heat-detecting FLIR camera heads toward a San Diego housing complex.
Where was the suspect last seen?
Somewhere out there, an armed suspect is hiding in the bushes under the cover of darkness.
Okay, got mountains over there.
It doesn't take long before the pilot spots the suspect. The officer in the air directs a ground unit toward the young man.
Okay, keep going. Keep going. Okay, stop your car right there. Now, the target I'm looking at is in the weeds off to the right. Don't approach it yet. I want to get another unit up behind you in case he rabbits.
The plan is to surround the guy without him knowing it, then send in a veteran who trains for just this type of situation.
Okay, just keep going eastbound, directly eastbound, and this guy's pushed in, so let's just leave him here till the unit gets here.
After getting their ducks in a row, it's time to release the dog.
Pushes, the dog is loose, the dog's heading right for him. The dog has got him.
The man may be armed, but he's no match for the canine.
Dog has them, they're engaged.
The suspect is quickly subdued and taken into custody.
Nice work, Abel, thanks.
He's reportedly charged with eluding arrest and parole violation. As for the canine cop, no doubt he'll be given something tastier to chew on when he gets home. The guy driving this car is just asking for trouble. First, he cut off a cop, and now he refuses to pull over. Police follow the slow-moving Toyota through Woodstock, Georgia. Finally, it looks like he's going to obey the law. There's just one problem. He stops the car, but he won't shut off the engine. He makes the mistake of backing up.
Turn the car off, sir.
Turn your car off.
Turn the car off,
Turn your
sir.
car off.
After breaking the driver's side window, officers race for their cruisers. 100 yards down the road, the driver stops once again. Officers are in no mood for niceties.
Stop your car right now.
This man obviously has trouble making up his mind because moments later, he's on the road again. It turns out this guy is a known troublemaker who's been busted by some of these cops before. The decision is made to force him to stop, whether he likes it or not. But despite being blocked and bumped, he's able to bust out. At this point, the lead trooper has had enough and decides it's time for a little one-on-one. He pulls up alongside and gives him a greeting. Officers swarm the car and make sure this time he's stopped for good. When he's dragged from the car, it's safe to say he won't get off with a warning. In fact, he's booked on 11 different charges from aggravated assault to felony fleeing to DUI. Don't drive off. Disorderly conduct is still rolling. Up next, cops and passersby do their best to save a desperate man. And you won't believe how it ends. And there's a shootout at the supermarket. Don't check out. There's more disorderly conduct coming up. It's a rainy day in Weatherford, Texas. Officer Matt Vincent finds a distraught man on a highway overpass.
Hanging out. Don't know where to go. Well, you got somewhere better than the interstate bridge where you're about to get hit by a car?
But the man isn't worried about getting hit by a car. He's got a plan, and he's about to put it into action. Without warning, the man climbs over the rail and goes over the edge. Officer Vincent grabs the man's shirt as he dangles nearly 20 feet over the freeway.
Let me go.
The officer struggles to hold on and calls for help.
Climb back up, dude. Oh, God. Help me, dude.
Passing motorists run to his aid.
Help me, dude. Hey, get me on, man. Get me on, man. Get your arm up. Get your arm up, man.
But it's no use. The shirt rips, and the man falls nearly 20 feet to the roadway below.
He's throwing off the bridge. He's on the interstate right now.
Officer Vincent brings his car around to where the man is lying in the freeway. It doesn't look good. But amazingly, the man suffers no life-threatening injuries. He's treated at a hospital and released the next day. Officer Vincent and a couple of heroic passersby did their best to stop him. But in the end, it was sheer luck that kept this man alive another day. A masked man walks into a supermarket in Fort Worth, Texas, leaving an accomplice to watch the door. Off camera, the suspect takes wallets and purses from customers at gunpoint, while his accomplice holds the door open on the right. This is where it gets interesting. The guy walking in the door on the left is on the phone with his wife, who just got robbed by the suspect in the store. But he's carrying something more than a cell phone. He's got a semi-automatic Beretta handgun. The suspects run as the irate husband blasts away at them with that pistol. Both robbers hit the street, but the one in the red hat takes a slug in the butt and one in the leg. He was busted after being found later at a local emergency room. The accomplice escaped without injury or arrest. The husband was licensed to carry a concealed weapon. He was hailed by cops for his role in stopping a violent crook. It's a pursuit through the streets of Ocala, Florida. The driver has several warrants out for his arrest and wants nothing to do with jail. It's time to stick out some spikes. The Hyundai hits the strip, and now police wait for some tires to deflate. Meanwhile, the suspect continues to barrel through the center of town. But what will he do when he comes to that red light up ahead? Police hope he's smart enough to stop. He's not. The man runs the red and T-bones an innocent man on his way home from work. Despite the crash, the suspect tries to run, but officers quickly put an end to that. The man is charged with felony fleeing, as well as possession of crack cocaine. And fortunately, the innocent motorist survives. The bars have just closed in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. And the main drag in town is a dangerous place to be. That's because a guy is racing through the city with one hand on the wheel and the other holding a bottle. Just about every cop in town closes in on the driver from both north and south. Check out the view from 2 dash cams when the cruisers converge on the suspect. This guy's not about to be pinned in, and he's able to elude his captors. It's a sobering sight as the drinking driver hits 80 miles an hour. It isn't long before the suspect hits a turn too fast and goes for a spin. Seconds later, he tries to ram a cruiser. The craziness continues as the man drives over sidewalks and across grass. It's time to give this Nissan a nudge. Now he seems to be trapped. But look closely. The driver dives out of his window and takes off. But he won't get far, courtesy of the Pine Bluff PD. The suspect is caught and cuffed after being tackled to the ground. Inside the man's car, officers find a half-empty bottle of booze and the full-size knife. His next stop is jail, where he's booked for a number of charges, including felony flight, carrying a weapon, and driving while intoxicated. Next up on Disorderly Conduct. This woman takes some drugs. And this guy takes a fall. If you've got what it takes, stick around for more Disorderly Conduct. Albany, Georgia. A police narcotics team is on the trail of a suspected dealer after getting a tip from informants that he's riding with a load of crack cocaine. It's raining and the road is slick. But the same can't be said for the suspect. You know you've got problems when a straightaway with too much rain on it is just too much to handle. The suspect can't recover from the spin-out. He jumps out the passenger side and hoofs it across the field. He's caught and cuffed as a backup car pulls up to the scene. But the real catch of the day is still in the suspect's car. 3 bags filled with cocaine. A nice haul for a short chase. And more than enough to take the suspect on a little spin to the nearest jail cell. An officer is in full pursuit of a stolen car in Kyle, Texas. The suspect, believed to be armed, has been weaving in and out of lanes at up to 100 miles an hour. He suddenly darts for an exit ramp. The officer loses control and flips his patrol car as he tries to negotiate the exit. We'll have to check on him later. Right now, a dangerous suspect is still on the loose as a second unit picks up the chase. The suspect runs a stop sign, but cops have decided that he's going to stop anyway. The officer lines up a pit maneuver. It's a pit so nice, he tries it twice. Once on the right, and once on the left. It's good night for the crook in the stolen El Camino. He's charged with aggravated assault, evading, theft, and felony gun possession. But what about the officer in the wrecked car? He's hurt, but not bad, with minor cuts and bruises and a broken finger. Still, he'd rather be in his car than this one. Orangeburg County, South Carolina. An officer signals for this Pontiac to pull over, but the driver ignores the command. After leading the trooper for several blocks, the man finally comes to a stop behind an apartment complex. The lawman goes to talk with the driver. Then seconds later, a struggle ensues. The officer pins the suspect to the asphalt, but the man refuses to surrender. Now things are about to get really interesting as neighbors move in to check out this afternoon drama. Some of the local ladies literally get right on top of the action, ignoring orders to stay back. At one point, a woman even reaches into the suspect's pocket and pulls out a baggie full of a white substance. The officer is able to grab the baggie back, but now he has to hang on to it in the middle of this madness. As the struggle continues, the deputy decides he needs both hands, so he sets the baggie on the ground. He's not sure what's in it, but it's a safe bet it's not crumbled up chalk. Now watch the lady in green pants as the officer turns the suspect over. That's right, she bags the baggie. The officer orders her to put it back. So after pondering the situation, she drops her newfound treasure. While the cop continues the cuffing, all eyes seem to stay on that beloved baggie. As the crowd closes in, the deputy once again grabs the bag and moves it away from the folks. But the lady in the black shirt isn't fooled. She makes a beeline for the baggie, picks it up, and promptly takes it into a nearby apartment. In the end, the driver is booked for resisting arrest and possession of drug paraphernalia. 5 women are charged with obstructing an officer. As for the 6th woman, she's also charged with larceny, since she swiped possible evidence. So what was in that baggie? We'll never know, since it was never seen again.
I need you to help me out. We're gonna make it for mine.
An officer in Broward County, Florida, wants this suspected DUI to walk the line. But first, they have to put down the line.
Set that on the ground right there in front of you.
It's more than the guy can handle.
Oh!
He puts the tape on the ground, all right.
Oh!
And then he puts himself on the ground with it.
Oh!
Head first. It's a hard price to pay for DUI.
All right?
The suspect gets a good bruise, but isn't seriously hurt. He was reportedly busted for DUI. On the bright side, now he doesn't have to take the test.
Just set that on the ground right there in front of you.
He used his head
Oh!
and failed.
Oh!
Cherry Sunday.